Hey guys, Mike Lauper here, and today we're going to do a mini review of my EOS RP after 1 month of use. So I've used this camera for the past month, and today we're going to do a little bit of a review of what I think of the features, what it's like to shoot with it, kind of the experience I've had so far, and whether or not you guys should even think about buying this. Alright, so I want to give you guys a look at what is got to be the smallest light stand I've ever seen with the largest umbrella that it could fit. So this is just holding my standard umbrella and a standard bulb with the light mount right on top of this tiny rinky-dink little stand. And I'm going to show you what this thing looks like. It's none of this could go to my footage, but so I picked this up and take a look at this. This is it. This tiny little thing. It's not even as big as the umbrella that it's holding. Anyway, I'm trying a new setup, and I'm kind of, I wanted to put this light back here. The setup's actually going to be from this side. Alright, so before we get into it, guys, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and go ahead and ring the bell to be notified about future videos. The support really means a lot to me, and it's what's making it possible for me to continue. So please go ahead, like the video, subscribe, and ring that bell. Every time I start shooting, something falls right onto the lens as I'm looking at it. Hey guys, Mike Lauper here, and this Wednesday we're not doing a Q&A. However, it is approximately the 1 month anniversary of my purchase of my EOS RP. And I kind of thought it'd be a good idea to give you guys some sort of 1 month kind of review, if you like, kind of my impressions after a month of the camera, what I like about the camera, what I don't like about the camera, how it's working for me as a vlogging camera, yeah, that sort of thing, just to give you guys an idea of whether or not this is something that you would be interested in investing in. So right off the bat, the color is just beautiful. Obviously, every Canon product, I just love the Canon color profile. It's a beautiful color profile. I just love the way my footage looks. I light it up real good. I get a lot of light on me, and as you guys know, I shoot at night, as you can tell, darkness outside, and the camera just does a really good job with just very little lighting. I've got my softbox, which you guys can check out in another video, a fill light, and today I'm actually using a light to light up the background on this side over here, and I'm using sort of a warm orangey color almost. It's a yellowy color. With fairly little light setup, you get a fairly good picture right out of the camera, and the color is always really good. And the only complaint I had originally was that when I'm shooting in 4K, the autofocus is kind of crap. I have to admit, it's kind of crappy. You're not going to like the autofocus. You have to get used to it. And the 24 to 125 millimeter lens is really tight. So I went ahead and I bought the 10 to 18 millimeter lens, and that one is absolutely fantastic. As you can see, the shot is huge. I can even make that bigger if I want to. Let's see if we went a little bit bigger. As you can see, I can zoom out even from there, but I kind of like the way this looked, so I'm going to stay here for now. The great thing is the thread on the 10 to 18 millimeter lens is 67 millimeter, which is the exact same thing as the 24 to 125. And so that means all my filters work on both lenses, which is really cool. So I got the adapter, as you guys know, if you watched one of my earlier videos. I think I'll put a link right here to that. In that video, we covered the adapter that I bought for my EF lenses so that they fit onto the EOS R camera, so we can use wider angles and things like that without spending a fortune for those RF lenses. So right now I have one RF lens, which is the 24 to 105 millimeter, and it is it's a beautiful lens to work with. I really enjoy shooting with that lens. However, shooting a vlog, holding the camera and pointing it at myself while walking is just not a likely scenario with that lens. It's just cropped too much, and basically all you get is a shot of my face. I would like to see a little more than just my face. I'd like to see the background. I'd like to see the situation that I'm in. And honestly, that's what I needed the 10 to 18 millimeter lens for. This is an amazing combination. This lens with this camera on 4K gives me exactly what I was looking for. So if that's what you're looking to do, I would highly recommend that. Buy the body, buy the adapter, and buy this 10 to 18 millimeter lens. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the menu structure and how easy it is to configure. I did watch a couple of videos on how other people were configuring it, and I ended up resetting the camera and starting over from scratch the way that I wanted it to work. So a couple things that I did right off the bat. I like to shoot in a neutral profile, so I went ahead and selected that, but it was a bit unsharp. It's just that 0 just didn't bring any sharpness to the picture at all, and it felt a little bit, I need a little bit more sharpness on it. So I set that to a 2, and since then I've been very happy with the result. The next feature that I really like is there's a couple of control wheels right on top of the camera. So one's preset to the shutter speed and the other one is preset to the aperture. So honestly, I really like that setup. But I also wanted to put the ISO on something, and that's where the control ring that's on the front of the lens comes in. I set mine to use that for the ISO. You ask me, Mike, what about EF lenses? They don't have the control ring. Well, not a problem. You go ahead and if you buy the more expensive adapter, it actually has a control ring on it, which is pretty cool. All right, let's talk a little about what I didn't like about the camera. Other than the fact that 4K autofocus is kind of crappy, the rest of it's pretty nice. So when you're shooting with an RF lens, and I've only got one RF lens, so I don't know if it's true for all RF lenses, but for the RF lens that I have, when you're shooting with an RF lens, you now have 24 frames per second at 1080p, you have 24 frames per second at 4K, and pretty much anything in between that you want to shoot at. Now here's the problem that I found I had when I put my 10 to 18 millimeter lens on the camera. 1080p, 24 frames per second, disappeared. So I now go right back to the options of shooting in 4K or 30 frames per second. And I didn't want to shoot in 30 frames per second. Not that there's anything wrong with 30 frames per second, but I've just gotten used to shooting everything in 24 frames per second, and I kind of like the way that looks, and I want to keep doing that. So I have to shoot in 4K when I'm using my EF lens on this camera. Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer because look, it's not that I'm going to shoot a lot of 1080p, period. I don't really want to shoot 1080p. One of the reasons I got the camera was so that I could shoot in 4K. But the fact that it disappears, it's available with the RF lens, but it's not available with the EFS lens. The point of this camera was to shoot full frame at 4K. So it does that. When vlogging with it, well, handheld, I didn't think it was that stable. And there was a bit of a wobbly quality to the footage, but I realized that if I don't swing it around too wildly and I control my movements a little bit, it actually is not really an issue and it shoots just fine. A couple of new things that popped up are some color quality when shooting photographs. That was kind of nice. I don't do a lot of photography, but I really like what I did get out of the camera on the photography side. The images were super sharp. It was super clear, just vivid colors, and it's all. And that's just shooting in neutral. I didn't even want to color grade. It was so easy. That's the other thing. I'm feeling a very small desire, very small desire to color grade with this camera. The colors just come in so beautiful that color grading seems like a bit of a waste. All right, so for the past couple of days, every time I've tried to shoot a video, I've noticed that my computer starts humming like crazy. And it's temperature, right? So it's heating up, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I changed my setup a little bit. I'm going to show you guys. Let's focus on the computer here. Okay, we got that. So what was happening is this wire, which is the power wire, was getting caught on the back of the computer here and covering up the vents. So I don't know if we can see that. Let's take a look. So down below here are the vents, right? That's where the heat gets dissipated. Well, the way I had it set up, the cable was covering those vents and the computer started howling every time I started doing anything. So I readjusted where this cable was lying. So it was lying right up against this, right? Like that, right? And so I readjusted that. Now I've routed that around, so we'll see how that works. But hopefully that droning of the heatsink or the fan is going to go away, and we're going to have some good quality sound. All right, guys, so that's about it, wrapping it up. The camera's really, really cool. There's some links down below if you want to go check it out. Just go ahead and click on what's in my gear, and you can go find all the equipment that I use. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to that next number, and you guys know how hard it is, so please do subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to be notified about future videos. And those likes really matter, so go ahead and do those as well. And I'll catch you in the next one. This tripod. I'm telling you, everybody needs one of these. This is like the coolest tripod. That part's not gonna make it in. Man, I have got to get a haircut.